Most of the time, smallmouth bass are a predator that feeds on crayfish and baitfish, things like that. Occasionally we get a big hatch of mayflies on the river, like what we have here. Call them white millers. The actual name is Euphron lucon, I believe. Don't quote me on that though. They hatch in such big numbers that even a predator like a smallmouth will come up and start feeding actively on them. They come off right at dark. If this hatch really goes good, there'll probably be 10, 15 smallmouth rising on this current seam right next to me within the next 10 or 15 minutes. I've seen a few fish come up so far. Not much yet, but I'm got my fingers crossed that some action's going to happen here real soon. There's actually a couple of fish working them right now. Instead of using a big popper, I use a clipped deer hair fly. It's a lot more popular with Atlantic salmon and steelhead fishermen, called a bomber. I could make it be more difficult for myself by trying to tie a dry fly, say, that looks exactly like these things. I could tie that, but it wouldn't float as good as this bomber does, so therefore I don't think it would work quite as good. And I usually just wake it right through where I see fish rising. Now there's at least one out there feeding on them. And just because you're fishing a mayfly hatch, don't make the mistake of scaling down your tackle. 'Cause now I'm anchored, and it makes it that much harder to land the fish, because now I'm having to really deal with the current. This guy isn't even that big. Look what he's doing to me here. Oh, pulled on him a little too hard, which I'm prone to do. When this hatch is going, you've only got maybe a half an hour before it's dark out and the hatch is done. So I tend to keep the pressure on them to see how many I can catch while they're actively feeding on them. So I'm anchored at kind of at the top of this current seam. Got to dry it off good. And if I see some fish rising downstream of me further, I'll just pull up the anchor and I'll slide down maybe another 50 feet or so. One just popped right down there just outside of that last cast. Well, that wasn't quite right. I'm going to fish it out anyway. I've tried doing the dead drift, and they just don't seem to respond to it as well as a fly waking or skating on the surface. When this hatch really goes, I think there's so many of them, so many insects on the surface, that they have a hard time picking yours out if it isn't kind of waking along and attracting a little bit of attention. There we go. Whoa! Jeez! And a good sized fish like that, look at that. He comes up and slurps that little bug. I really don't want you on that side of the boat. There we go. I'm fighting this one and I'm loving it, but there's at least 2 or 3 more that are up there that look like they want to play. Oh, even though these ones I've hooked here so far aren't all that big, I have caught full-size ones. Oh, he's bigger than I thought he was. Very nice. Who's next?